fight where it was just like all of those incremental advantages have added up. We're into picks and bans though for game number 2, and we need to see more proactivity from FPX, especially for Hung. Get Hung on something where he can go in. We'll have to see if that's going to happen though. Senna being banned as well as Lucian. We just need Thresh for the full lore lockout here, but it's going to be the Kalista taken off the board by V5, as well as that Wukong gone as well. So we will have a bit of a different game, but the Gwen has made it through. Shaola, who instant lock it.
Yeah, has been the most banned champion in the LPL coming to the day. She had one more ban over the Lucian. I like the V5 also took off the Wukong. I want to point that out since FPX didn't, and I feel like leaving open Wukong just always feels like it is a mistake right now. But V5 going to be the team to go towards the Ezreal this time around, and going to instantly pick up the Viego with the Wukong gone. Now for Klid, you would expect maybe something like the Lee Sin. I didn't even have time to finish that. The man just insta-locked it. And Care on his signature pick once again.
This is what we're talking about. This is what we wanted. This is what we've been asking for. Aggression, proactivity, good leaders. The Lissandra comes on through this time, but it feels like look at the difference between what FX have now versus what they had in game number 1. This feels infinitely better.
Oh, I agree, right? Again, just being able to connect through your mid-jungle where we've highlighted FX have looked a lot better. But for V5, not going to be an easy task getting over their mid-jungle, right? Lissandra winning out in that 1v1 against the Ahri. We've seen it so many times. Then being able to bring Viego in and then just reset City for both of them. You have the Ice Zombies going all over. Viego to get off all of his ults continuously. Now going to look to where V5 want to finish off their draft with. You'd expect them to maybe look towards a top lane now, just answer up against the Gwen. We still have things like the GP open, which were obviously one of the long-time answers to the Gwen, and Rich had an insane performance on it the other day.
Yeah, he certainly did. It can be very terrifying, and, we'll see where Rich is going to go up with that top side, because, after game number 1, I feel like he's just looking to finish this series out as the dominant top laner. Having counterpick in both games now as well. Rich is set up for success here. And we've seen that Cars are more than happy to focus on his lanes. But perhaps just going tanks. Maybe this is the answer for V5. Just always have a tank up at the top side nowadays.
I'm curious to see how they'll go with that one. I feel like their damage could be a little bit lacking if they do, and they instead pivot to this. This was obviously one of the first things we saw pivoting into the Gwen when we came into summer rather than the GP, so you should be able to scale in lane just fine. Shala, who shouldn't be able to dominate Rich like Rich was able to dominate him when he was on the Kayle himself. So I like that they're bringing more damage. I like that they're bringing, again, a bit more kiteback potential and a huge carry. Now for FPX, hovering over the Jinx to try and match the range that Ezreal brings with her rockets. And now when it comes to Hung, I mean, engaged support is what we highlighted coming through. Nautilus still being left open. Tom Kench kind of fits the mold, right? Again, now that your W is the Abyssal Dive, being able to start things off.
If he locks in the Thresh, it'll be so good. It's such a good pick for specifically Hung. But also, we saw the Lucian and Senna both being banned away. We'd have the whole trio if he locks in the Thresh. But Hung, just such a good Thresh player. It's so great alongside the Jinx. We've barely seen Thresh recently. It feels like he completely fell out of the meta. But I feel like for Hung specifically, it's such a great pick.
I feel like the durability update really hurt him. Again, just no armor per level. They changed how much you get for your missiles in. And again, just the fact that you are a champion looking for a hook, looking to set up for burst, when burst has just been nerfed by the fact that people have more health and more resistance is able to come through. So now for V5, this would be a bit of a standard answer to come through if you do hook the Thresh, just being more innately tanky in the early game to try to pull things off. But I don't expect too much action in the bot lane once again. This looks like it should be a very mid-jungle oriented game.
Yes, it should. And we'll see who's going to win it out. But I'm liking the Lee Sin Ahri. This is every time we've seen FPX being this proactive, aggressive team, it's pretty much been these two picks, right? And you mentioned it before. Care coming into the league, very much an Ahri aficionado. This is a guy that's played a ton of Ahri. It was easily his most played when he joined the LPL. So definitely a comfort pick for him. And Klid, we all know how good Klid is on the Lee Sin. So fantastic little duo. And perhaps we get that Thresh roaming around from Hung to help out, turn it into that three-man squad that we've been talking about so much.
Yeah, because I feel like attacking jungle could really be the way to go with this game. Top lane might be a little bit hard for either side. You expect Kayle to be under turret early on, so no avenues there for FPX, and Gwen just very much a nuisance to try to layer down with the lack of CC that V5 have on their top side. Same thing when you look at bot lane, right? Jinx versus Ezreal could be kind of hard to find an opportunity, but you can still look for them. So it feels like the play might just be unlocking supports from lane, linking up with mid, and then working your way to stealing Raptors and not allowing Clid to get any this game, you know, taking away enemy buffs and just hardcore winning this game through abusing the enemy jungler, and then pseudo turning the game into a bit of a 5v4.
Yeah, I mean, why not just do the same thing they did in game number 1, basically, right? Just deny Raptors over and over, or at least blue side denying Raptors. It was more V5 doing it last time around. We'll have to wait and see. I'm excited for how this one pans out. I'm also excited to see Rich up in this top lane, now taking the pick that Xiaolao, who played in game number 1, and using it against him. But look at this straight off of the bat from V5, looking to get a little bit cheeky with it as Rich pretends he's alone up in the top side. They've spotted Xiaolao, who, and the rest of V5 going to go quite deep. If Xiaolao paths upwards, he could be in trouble. But look at this, playing with vision. V5 trying to bait it. Rich wanted Xiaolao to go for the 1v1. But moved in a little too early, I fear.
Yeah, not able to find it. They tried to pincer him from both sides to be able to lock him down. Not able to do so. Now FPX going to respond and get a bit of a ward for themselves onto the enemy red buff. In terms of like starts that we see, nothing too out of the ordinary. Kayle has taken Ghost in this matchup against the Gwen. The lane isn't too egregious. You can just play more for team fights in terms of having that one being able to move around later on. Same with Xiaolao, not opting for the Ignite, playing more for the 5v5 with the Ghost himself.
Yeah, I don't think FPX actually saw the V5 players there. I'm pretty sure everyone else stayed in the brush. And it was only Rich that was actually spotted. He moved forward and Xiaolao backed away. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I believe. Either way, ward coming down onto that red buff. So it will be Clid playing with full information on this one of Karsa. As Karsa starts on the chickens, obviously not been spotted just yet, but he inevitably will go for that red buff next. Heavy trades up at the top side to start this one off, though.
Yeah, Rich having, you know, an advantage with the fact that he can just use that E, whittle down from a range. Still could be rough. Let's see Xiaolao getting the stacks for his Q to be able to win out with the snip. So Rich going to have to be very careful, make sure he doesn't end up on the losing end of a trade. And we already hit on for Karsa, right? Shouldn't find too many opportunities in the top side, so will be pathing down towards his Nautilus and his Lissandra. That's where we'll really want to see V5 get ahead. But my God, these guys don't stop.
Rich is going forwards right now. What are you doing, Rich? He was... Did he think he was blue side?
I just can't even much. Like, I don't know. The level 1 I get, again, you have the range from your E. You're not walking up to the wave yet, but now you're contesting him in the wave. He's just stacking up Qs right in front of your face. You don't care at all. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Rich has had a fantastic game 1. What?
Maybe he thought he still had the XP advantage he had in game number 1. I don't know. I genuinely... He's in Sejuani mode. That's what's just happened right there. He was in Sejuani mode, but he's playing Kayle. Look at this. Like, he starts the trade on less HP. He's on less HP, and he's going forwards.
I mean, again, other than the very first trade, he was losing out on every subsequent trade. He hits level 2 first, but Xiaolao hits level 2 pretty much exactly at the same time. And now we see FPX, okay, just clearing out a ward. Thought maybe they're going to try and look to punish, but you're right. Not being able to tether and stay on the outside of the range from the snip coming on through didn't help with the fact that E was up.
All in on the bottom side, flash forward. Oh, see you later, Hung. That's why you don't play Thresh anymore, I guess, because he's about as thick as a sheet of paper. Just gets annihilated.
And this goes complete opposite of how these two bot lanes look coming in, right? FPX were the bot lane who are looking for the aggressive 2v2s, finding kills, to our V5 have been playing a lot more passive, able to find it coming out from PP God. And V5 might be having some trouble in Paradise in the top side, but at least having this bot lane that they can rely on in game 2.
And this is not typically what you think of when you get an Ezreal locked in, right? You don't think of aggressive lanes, you don't think of kill threat. But here in the LPL, Ezreal, different kind of champion. You can be aggressive if you can land poke down. And if PP God can find those kinds of hooks, just flash forward for the root as well, you'll find those kills. Photic with a big advantage now in the bottom side and a 10 CS lead to boot.
Yeah, and we can see for V5 having the advantage in bot lane. They're consistently going to be able to keep Prio in mid, especially now that Dream has matched the back of Care. Should just be able to push that one in quite easily and get up those electrocute procs. Care even going towards the unsealed spellbook, so showing, kind of acknowledging he isn't going to be able to win out in this lane and playing more for the utility he can bring on later. So it will bring a lot of options for Karsa, who for now is just playing for that level 6. Nice from PP God to buffer the Q.
I love that PP got as well. Literally just standing there like, go on, Hung. Hook him. Try. Just give it your best shot here and just immediately buffers it, like you say. Very nicely done there. Completely read Hung like a book. And you can see Clid was trying to make a play on the bottom side. It will be denied.
Yeah, and now I like the V5. Karsa once again pathing down towards this bottom side. When we've hit on it for FPX, it's been a lot about stacking up these early Drakes. Clid knowing he can't just go for that one. Finds Dream.
Yeah, Dream will just tap away, though. Care. I feel like you could have gone for the Charm Flash there. I feel like that was an opportunity that Care didn't quite go for. Didn't want to use his flash, I guess. But now Karsa moving into the mid lane instead, and it will be Care there. But level 6 available on this Ahri. Dream goes forward, uses that ulti, the chain stun, Spirit Rush Flash comes out, and Care will be safe.
Yeah, V5 a lot more decisive about looking for that gank. Then Care was, like you were highlighting, still ends up being a flash for flash trade in mid, but you force Care to recall to her Dream, still doing fine in terms of health. Is low on mana, so you'd expect him to maybe look for a recall after getting this wave pushed in. And now FPX. Clid probably going to look for the steal. You do have the Lantern from Hung available if he does just want to try and get in, get the smite, and then be able to get out.
Yeah, Clid is just going to walk into Dream, who was shopping maybe? I'm not sure. Didn't seem to notice Clid walking straight up to him. But ultimately, Clid in the mid lane will just decide the Drake isn't going to go his way. Karsa will take that one and return to his jungle. In the meantime, Clid can perhaps move up and at least get the top side scuttle.
And we can see, right, walking through mid, leaning with this mid laner, maybe looking to steal a bit of a cheeky chicken camp himself. And Rich playing near his tower. That's why we highlighted that it could be hard for either side's jungler to look to play towards this top half of the map, especially now that Rich is showing some respect.
Bit of aggression again. Oh, PP God. I like the attempt there, trying to get him out of the Lantern, but denied in the end. Ward cleared by FPX on the top side. Rich is level 6 on the Kale on full HP, though. I don't think that's a dive that you want to try and make happen.
No. I like that they back off. Just going to start preparing for this Rift Herald that's going to come up in about 1 minute's time. V5 still have time to get the setup for it, right? We saw True Shot Barrage just come out from the bot lane. They're going to have push if they want to start rotating up to look for this.
Hook onto LWX's health bar already gone here. Couple more autos would do the trick. Hung body blocking. But Photic's level 6. He's already used his ultimate, actually. He must have used that just to clear the wave at some point.
So he used it like about 20 seconds ago. It looked like they were trying to guarantee themselves pressure to take a plate and maybe rotate towards top. But after finding that advantageous trade, I wouldn't be surprised if we see V5 just pivot down towards the spot side and get a whole ton of plates onto Photic.
Ooh, Shallow, who low on HP. Rich doing well in this matchup. You know, down in CS, but at least finding some kind of reprieve as he gets a couple of good trades there. Might be able to deny that recall as well. Waits until the last second to do so. Shallow, who knowing what was going to happen there. But Rich just going to be looking to freeze that wave as much as he can because he's way behind in CS. And obviously, the early death was tragic to say the least.
Rich was even chasing him. Rich was even chasing him out. If you look at the minimap, he's actually still hunting for him.
Wants to deny that recall at all costs, but won't happen. Shallow, who has TP available, will just drop that straight away on towards the top side. Rich can do the exact same in matchup.
Yeah, so huge CS advantage up in top side for the side of FPX, but huge CS advantage for V5 down in bot. They're able to get that wave in. Again, I think they enabled their bot lane more because of that huge trade, and now we can start to see members like PP God making their way to mid and maybe setting up for that Herald, where FPX are actually pinging already.
Yeah, and Rich actually opting into not recalling before to make sure he could keep the wave there, but realizing he's not going to be able to keep going toe-to-toe with Shaola, who so now has to recall. That should buy space for FPX to just go for this Herald. You can see Dream nowhere near the situation either. True Shot Barrage is optimistic, but, you know, you got to make the attempt. The miracle play can't happen without the attempt, right? So this will be, hopefully, the Herald for FPX. Cast a toy with the idea, but won't go over.
Yeah, and feels like if V5 wanted to guarantee this objective, when you had chunked out the bot lane so heavily is when you probably should have just rotated your bot lane over and looked for that play. LWX would have had to recall anyway, so wouldn't have been able to push in and trade for any plates on the opposite side. V5 trying to get everything on the map that they can. Gave FPX the window to find that Herald, but still going to be able to all in on both sides of the map.
Rich is actually winning this time around, though, and still has his ultimate available. Big damage onto Shala, who low on HP. But here comes Clint to turn the play around, and Caster suddenly 2v1. Wants to go for Shala, who but won't get the chance.
Nice bait coming out from Shala, who I don't think it was intended to be a bait, but that's how it worked out in the end, forcing Rich to overchase because Shala, who got so low, able to finish that one off and at least get a bit of a reprieve in the top side. And now mid laners kind of being in a neutral place. It feels like both teams should be looking to opt to maybe trade for opposite sides, right? For FPX, you do have Herald, so you got to be a bit cautious of top lane if that's where Clid is playing towards with this, but my god, Clid's taking a ton of damage.
Oh, Caster's going to go for the dive! We've got junglers cosplaying as top laners today, as Caster now Lee Sin coincidentally is best champion and uses it to hop away on the minion wave.
And Clint is not expecting it at all. Not expecting it whatsoever. He had flash, he had everything available to be able to get away, but not even thinking it'd come through. Sorry to interrupt, we're going to get the replay coming on through. Doesn't have full snacks of his snip. Actually misses another hit of his ult to come through, which is what allows for Rich to be able to turn the trade. But Clid getting here right in the nick of time to connect with the Sonic Wave, guaranteeing that Rich goes down.
Yeah, Rich trying to play. He thought that he had the numbers advantage with Carcer there. Little did he know Clid was on the way. But then Carcer makes up for his top laner's mistake with a solo dive in the top side. I was about to say how they were, pretending to be top laners. I didn't anticipate that would mean immediately Carcer dives, but realistically, that's the way top lane works in LPL.
Yeah, and again, Clid just not reading that damage to come through, had all the tools to escape. Is sadly, Photic not able to cancel the recall coming out from LWX, but V5 will get Photic to bot lane first. You're now overloading mid to make sure you have suppression with Clid showing top. This should set up a Drake for the side of V5, but FPX might be able to get a pretty bit of plates on this top lane turret broken down.
Photic doing the hit a single target with True Shot Barrage challenge. Brackets impossible so far this game. They're just sailing across the map. As Shallow will find pressure in the top side to push things in. A tower plate taken by Photic on the bottom side. This will be at least a couple of plates. They go for the dive. Clid has the Q onto Rich. There's the damage, but will trade his own life. Dream gets the Everfrost. That's so huge. There's no tower damage going down. Shallow, why did you hit
Dream!
Shallow, you fool!
Oh, it's still comes through, but more action. FPX. Hung might go down.
Yeah, Hung's knocked up, taking a huge chunk of damage there. Photic should be able to follow with the E, and Carcer is heading him off. Hung desperate to survive, but it ain't happening. It's a good Q. Like, fair play to Hung. He's dodging, he's ducking, he's dipping, he's diving, and Carcer puts an end to the nonsense.
Yeah, I like it. Looked like Photic was maybe thinking at first, I'm just going to flash over the Swan, kill him. Sees and probably hears from Carcer, hey, I'm wrapping around, doesn't need to commit that ability, and does go down in the end. Hung did waste a fair bit of time, but still, V5's bot lane going to be able to pick up probably another plate on top of this. Still a minute up before plates go down. And I mean, huge just picks for V5 so far in this early mid game. Already a 2K gold lead.
And look at the timing on the Herald. Clid immediately has to go back up top. LWX super low on HP. Photic does lose a lot of his own HP in that trade, though. And LWX with Rocket available. Now the Herald will finally go down in this top side. That's 2 plates taken. Rich desperately trying to defend up here. He will finish that Herald off. We'll dodge the Sonic Wave, and we'll just clear this wave.
Yeah, so nothing too bad as V5 are still hammering home on this turret down in the bot side. And LWX, who had just come back to lane, already being forced to recall once again. FPX might need to commit care down here, but Dream has a wave going into turret and mid. And I mean, there's just so much pressure going in on this bot side that Dream being unlocked to find his own plates in mid.
And that's all off the back of these heavy trades. And we were coming into the series talking about how LWX and Hung, great in the 2v2, have been doing well in that 2v2, have been finding 2v2 kills against bot lanes like Viper and Mako. And yet, today, getting absolutely destroyed.
And we're going to get to see a replay here. Clid going into the cake to lock him down. Has enough durability. Didn't even have the ultimate up, but still comes in does lock him down. Damage comes through, and looks like hitting him didn't even matter. The wave had actually just completely cleared out before aggro had swapped over. But still, Dream, really great TP to punish.
Imagine playing AD carry in 2022 Omega lol. Just gets absolutely one shot. Cleanse does nothing against Lissandra because there's just too much CC.
You know, I feel like the whole like playing AD carry Omega lol thing is like almost factually true just about every year, right? And heck, this is like one of the best times to play AD carry with the durability update coming through, but
it's not necessarily that I agree with it. It's more just that it's funny. But
it's just a funny meme.
Like, it is the nature of the role as well, right? The whole point is that you are glass cannon. That is literally what it says on the tin. So I feel like if you're upset that you're dying to a fed Lissandra, well, you need to play a different role.
Yeah, and you should also question why there is a fed Lissandra. It's a V5. V5, trying to make something cheeky happen.
Because shout out who and Clid tried to dive a tower while the TP was available. That's why. And now Dream has 3 kills. And this is the second game in a row as well. The Dream managing to find himself a huge advantage. Hung gonna go for an attempted hook. That was blind, by the way. Had no idea PP God. Well, actually, yeah. How did he know PP God was there?
I'm not sure. I didn't see where PP God pathed in from. FPX obviously have a ward, it looks like, right on the outskirts of Herald, but I don't think PP God crossed there. Maybe crossed through that one above pit and Hung just making the guess that he should be in that brush. But V5, gonna use this opportunity to take the Herald. I don't think FPX are in a position to contest. No! LWX!
We've all been
Oh,
there.
no! He backs off.
Come on, Dream. Surely you go for those. I think wanting to...
Oh, he's gonna find it. He's gonna find it.
Side, LWX. Flash available. Oh, no, there is no flash. There is no flash. Dream just walks up to him, flashes forward, and finishes him off. Carson now in a 2v1 on the top side, but Rich ults him over the wall. Karsa will be safe to try and escape or try and go forwards onto Hung. Karsa way too aggressive on that one. Photic's here, though, alongside Rich. I don't think they have the damage to finish these ones off. But then again, Photic's pretty big. The 2 solo laners being chased down, and Photic will finish them off. It's beautiful from V5. The mojo is flowing as Photic gets a triple.
Rich just dancing around them, not able to land anything. We see Photic able to weave in on the opposite side. And overall, Karsa maybe a little bit greedy with that ultimate trying to jump onto Hung, but V5 are able to capitalize and even respawning in time for the Drake that's just about to come up.
I feel like that play was so reminiscent of the mid lane dive that we saw in game number 1, right? Where Karsa is a bit too greedy with it, trying to finish off Hung, and it was Hung again, the target. This time around, though, it's Photic there to clean things up, and they managed to make the play work. Now a 3rd Drake as well for V5. Everything they could want is going their way. A 6,000 gold lead. They're the only team to have taken a tower, although that may change shortly. Let's take another look as Karsa just so aggressive on the play.
Yeah, already having a kill from the fact that he was possessing the Lee Sin. Follows up on Hung. Conqueror gets stacked, but still now you're in between multiple members, not able to jump in. Still goes for it, tries to get onto Hung, but Hung did have flash, and he manages to get away. And then, what are we jumping into?
It never ends. Clid going forward, trying to finish him the flash. Oh, he didn't get the auto in time, and it's a double for Photic again. 5-0-3 as Hung is annihilated by Dream, and Karsa will not let anyone escape. Actually flashes forward just to remind LWX that his champion is useless.
And V5 are just completely demolishing them. I know we came into the day and I said, FPX, please beat V5. They have been completely sus, but V5 have looking so much better. Oh. Wait! What? What? I honestly did not think he had enough damage to burst him out. This
is the worst top lane I've ever seen.
I don't. I
don't know what's happening anymore.
Let's look at mid. Care going in. Both, sadly, Everfrost and Charm both misses. Great hook by PP God to ensure that they miss as well. And then, we see Karsa possessing the Ahri to make sure the Charm comes out. And I think that bought enough damage and enough time for Photic to be able to get the damage off once the flash comes through from the Lee Sin for them to be able to take the fight. And overall, just huge hero plays coming out from both PP God and Karsa in that exchange.
Yeah, incredible stuff.
It's hard to pivot back to being serious after that.
It really is. I've got the giggles now. I'm crying with laughter after that top lane play. That was something to behold, honestly. But just look at the scoreboard for V5, man. This is just absolute domination from them. And it's good to see that they can have solid early games, right? We were criticizing V5, saying that their early games have been really, really weak. And they've just been winning in the mid game. Well, not in this series. They've looked good. Aside from Rich up in the top side, not having the best game of his life. But, you know, MVP in game number 1. So swings and roundabouts, I suppose. But V5 looking a lot better across the board today.
Yeah, and a lot of it stemming, I think, from Karsa this game as well. Again, Karsa had an atrocious first series. Like, literally one of the worst games ever when he played the Poppy against TT. But coming in here on this Viego looking much better. And I do got to say, right, I feel like Karsa does bring like things we don't see, like communication and tangibles, because he's one of the players where I've talked to a lot of players who have worked with him, and he's someone who everyone loves working with Karsa. People love having him on their team. As V5 going to try and find Clid.
Oh, good lantern from Hung, actually. Clid dodges the true shot barrage there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And Karsa, renowned for being an extremely vocal player as well, right? We know this guy is a shot caller. We know this guy is going to happily lead the charge on plays. And we've seen multiple times in this series alone that he will go for plays, even if they're not necessarily the best play. And it's down to you as his teammate to follow up on that.
Yes, he's what we've talked about this a lot off of camera, but he's one of those players that you say to your teammates, hey, I'm going to do this. You either come in and we make it work, or I'm going to go in and run it down. Ball's in your court, boys. And you know, as a team, you have a choice to make.
I see, those are my favorite kinds of players, because Doom B is the same. Doom B is one of those kinds of players where he is going to make the play, whether you like it or not. You need to be on board, or it's your fault that you're losing the game, because the play can work. They believe that it can work because of their hand stiff we were talking about before. Look at the players on this V5 roster.
That's seriously just old top esports, right? That's every player saying that to each other. Every player turning around saying, I'm going in, you follow me or we lose. And you just need to hope they go in the same place.
Knight and Jackie love 2v5ing at the Baron against JDG, remember. That is the ultimate, like, look, we're going for this one. This is happening. Everyone else just got to be on board with it. I absolutely adore that right there. That's Mojo.
That's
if
Mojo.
You need a definition.
That's Mojo.
That's Mojo right there. Karsa always going to be bringing that to the table. Rookie, a similar player. Shallow, who though wanting Rich on the top side. Care is here too. Dodges away from the charm. Uses his ulti. He's going to be okay on this one now, trying to turn it around as Dream arrives, but I don't think they can go for a dive. In the meantime, pressure in the mid lane. Feels like V5 struggling to actually exert too much pressure on the map, but it's okay because the Drake coming up in 5 seconds, and that'll be solved.
Yeah, I feel like V5 weren't trying to over-aggress because of how soon the Drake was coming up. If not, right, they could have been trying to like fish for picks and topside, like threatening the idea of a Baron against FPX, and FPX would definitely happily go check. But V5 taking it slow, going to guarantee themselves soul, and Photic maybe even able to take down this turret. He does. So overall, huge objectives going for V5. Dream picking up a turret down in bot, and we're at almost a 10K gold lead. With Soul now going to be picked up for V5.
Game number 1, a lot closer, 30 minutes long. Game number 2, we're 22 minutes in, and the gold lead is bigger than it ever got in game number 1, I'm pretty sure. So definitely a tough situation for FPX, and LPX especially, having a really rough series, like struggling in the lane in game number 1. Now game number 2, you know, falling behind early in the Jinx is never going to be a fun situation, but 0-3-0 and just getting pummeled in every fight.
Yeah, we haven't seen their bot lane able to come online. And again, FPX's bot lane typically is, in my mind, they are like the coin flip bot lane. They are the push for aggression. You find the kill and carry or you don't, but really just being very quiet in this series so far. On the flip side, though, V5 being extremely proactive, right? We've seen many times them kind of disrespecting what the enemy's able to do in terms of where they're putting pressure on the map. We find the hook.
Got a charm. And that's all they find. Bring is going to be okay on this one as Carson.
Oh no, they're finding PP God.
PP God's here as well. This is the play for V5, but Hung with a great flash. Skill shots go wide though as Care in trouble. LWX kicked in and hooked back. It's beautiful. In fact, it's Photic on LWX. Wrong AD carry, but either way, he goes down. And now FPX with a potential opportunity, but in goes Carsa. 1v5. He has no regrets. And now the resets. The charm comes on in. Hung goes down and Carsa ults out. It's a straight up hands diff once more.
Luckily, Carsa able to save that fight after PP got aggressively eing forward. Oh, they still want to keep going.
Dream wanted to get LWX. He was a millimeter away from the Ring of Frost there. That would have been devastating if LWX goes down as well. LWX did have cleanse though, so I think he maybe would have been okay. Either way though, potential opportunity on Baron here, but it looks like it will just be resets for V5.
Yeah, and with resets coming out, we will jump right into the replay. V5 wanting to find this one, sending PP God in, but Hung with a really nice flash to dodge out. Then Photic so aggressive with this, actually didn't even E in, just channeling his true shot barrage, giving Clid the opportunity straight into Hung's hook. It pretty much guarantees that he will go down. Rich's ultimate buys him a little bit of time. We see here Dream as well, actually able to do a huge chunk of damage, which Carsa then follows up on to guarantee he gets the possession of the Ahri. Charm follows through, and Carsa able to make sure V5 picks up 2 kills off of the back of Photic getting caught out.
Blue buff resetting here as V5 starting to exude pressure on the top side here. As you said before, using that Baron to try and fish for picks. FPX moving in here. Luke going to be given over to LWX, so he has health regen and mana regen now with the double buffs available to him. And getting towards the point where he'll start to exist as a champion. Has pickaxe getting towards that 3rd item, but just look how far behind Photic he is. Photic already on 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, just huge right now. And V5, complete control of vision. We see them. They're just going to get this. I don't think Clid can even get here in time to hope to contest. No, you're going to have to pivot to mid. And now V5 can just start pushing down these waves. We see them sending Dream to top. They can group up mid, do the 2-lane collapse, and start getting some of this damage down in what will surely be a V5 win, right? We're 11k gold up. They have soul. This one is as over as it comes. Yeah. FPX, prove me wrong.
I'm hoping that that catches on, though. Do the 2-lane collapse. It's kind of like one of those dance moves from the 90s, where you have to do the 2-lane collapse. Kicked in, and Rich explodes on top of Care. Low HP LWX over the wall here. We'll be able to survive 4 now, but might be in trouble in the short term here as he's slowly but surely chased down. And V5, I mean, it's just a gold diff.
I tried to curse it much. I tried to curse it.
You tried your best, but Photic will be able to just charge on forwards here. Should be able to finish the kill off onto LWX. Whoa, my God, where did his health go? It's a solo kill, technically. This PP God takes up the tower, and Photic gets yet another one. That's V5 finishing this series strong. Looking fantastic, and Photic ain't stopping anytime soon. Care the next target, who's forced back onto the fans.
Yeah, V5 just coming out with a huge performance today. By far the best performance we have seen from this roster. Dream stepping up, Photic and PP God looking much better in this series, and Carsa even having a solid day.
PP God sacrificing himself to keep Photic alive at the end there. You love to see it from the duo in the bottom lane. And V5 across the board looking fantastic. Having a really, really great performance and showing that they can be consistent, you know,